Hello, I'm Meredith. Thank you so much for tuning into this video about the astrology for April. Um, let's see. So I want to start off with a few announcements. I'm now offering energy work, a contract breaking and entity and energy release clearing. So if that's of interest to you, you'll find my booking link in the description below. I'm having special pricing for April, which is exciting. And yeah, I've received some really good feedback so far, so I'm excited to kind of keep this going. And the next thing is that I'm about to do horoscopes for my patrons. So if you'd like me to do a video horoscope for you, you can find my Patreon in the description link below. And let's see what else. I think those are the only announcements for now. I'm going to attach a coupon code in case you'd like an astrology reading. And then let's see. Yeah, so kind of looking at the astrology for April, I just want to take it really general first and kind of look at everything from a zoomed out view, and then I'll go day by day. So right now, all of the planets are direct. So if you want to move, move. If you want to shake, shake. If you want to, make actions in your lives, do it. That's my suggestion for this time. And I think that towards the end of April, we'll see things begin to slow down. You know, I've kind of talked about like the spell that Neptune has been weaving in the form of like news media, in the form of all these things. I've talked about that at length. And I think that towards the end of April, maybe into May, we'll see that, as much as I want to be positive, I think that the light at the end of the tunnel phenomena that's been really pushed heavily, especially with this Mercury-Neptune conjunction, I think that we'll see, we'll continue to see some of the same spell work. So do your best to keep yourself out of it if you can, and just kind of do, if you are like me and kind of focused on creating a life outside of the Great Reset, which is not a conspiracy theory. The World Economic Forum has been talking about this at length. Agenda 2030 is something that's been in the works for a long time. So if you think this is a conspiracy theory, then that's great. Enjoy the smart cities and digital prisons, and I will be actively looking to do something else. So we'll continue to see division this month. I think that that's kind of something to be expected. It's interesting too, because when the North Node went into Gemini in 2001, that's when we had 9/11, which some people think is a false flag event. And that was a twin ritual, twin towers. Gemini is the twins. So I think that we'll continue to see like increased levels of polarization. And the only way I think to make it through this without being completely at the mercy of your emotions and at the mercy of what's going on around you is to block out the noise and to find a way to make it to the center of yourself. Do what you need to do so that you can do that. Find your own rhythm and your own sort of your own space where you can create what you want to create, sort of like sans what the plans are. That's my suggestion, because I think that there's a lot of emphasis through movies, through music, through celebrity, idolatry, through all of these different things outside authority to cause you to forget the impact and power that your imagination truly has. So don't stop imagining a better future for yourself, for your family, for your loved ones. And yeah, so another theme that is going to be continuing this month, well, there's a couple of themes I think that I've kind of seen just looking at the astrology. There's one theme of coming together with others, however you can, however you feel comfortable. I'm not here to tell you how you can come together with others. I don't want to impose my perspective onto you, but however you can, even if it is over Zoom or over whatever method. I think it's a really good time with Jupiter and Saturn and Aquarius and the North Node in Gemini to come into some kind of like-minded community. I think that's essential. So, yeah. And then let's see what else. The theme of Mother Earth shaking her back comes up this month. I think that there is definitely a level of weather engineering that we are in taking process in. It's like no longer a conspiracy theory at this point. You can look into HARP, you can look into all of these things, and you don't have to, but it's just a recommendation. So I've been saying, like good time to prepare, good time to stock up on food and water, good time to get a generator, even if it's just to be prepared. You don't have to do anything, obviously, but I've been saying this since probably like last year. So just really good to just make your preparations and to, focus on physical things, food, land, silver, gold, those types of things. Though I think, diversifying by investing in crypto, whatever, your business is your business. But I do think that this month there's some conjunctions between the Sun, Venus, and Mercury in Taurus. And I think that, there could be some interesting weather, and whether that's natural or engineered, I'm not quite sure, but I just figured I would share that. So let's get into the day-by-day breakdown. Just knowing that the first half of April is very forward-moving, very action-oriented. So I would say that toward the end of April, things kind of slow down. It's harder to take action. So take your actions now. And yeah, so on April 1st, the Sun in Aries is going to make a sextile to the North Node in Gemini. So what this allows for, the Sun in Aries is our individual nature. The North Node in Gemini is where we can synchronize and harmonize with our environment. So I think we'll see ease in making connections. And there's so many sextiles this month too. And what a sextile is it's a natural gift in terms of planetary energies, but then you have to like do something to activate it. And I'm coming out with an astrology class maybe over the next month. So if you want to learn about all the different Ptolemaic aspects, you can, but a trine is like a natural gift that does not require you to do anything between two planets, usually of a similar element. A sextile is complementary elements. And, so it's like if you were to burn sage, you'd have to do something to light the sage to experience the effects. If you are to, plant a garden, you have to water and tend to the garden, but then what it will give you back is tenfold. Also, I highly recommend that you plant a garden this year if you haven't already. So that's a recommendation for sure to be had. So this Sun in Aries sextile to the North Node in Gemini on April 1st really allows us, I think, to make those connections where we don't have to suppress who we are. We don't have to give ourselves away in any way, shape, or form. On April 2nd, Mercury in Pisces, which is also kind of, Mercury in Pisces is kind of like where things aren't really clear in the atmosphere. We don't really know quite exactly what's going on, though Mercury does move into Aries on April 3rd. But on April 2nd, Mercury in Pisces will sextile Pluto in Capricorn. So here we have access to the deepest parts of ourselves and of others and of this macro that we're experiencing. We have like a nice window to be able to see a few things clearly on April 2nd, and also, to really I think this adds clarity to Mercury and Pisces. Pluto is very straight shooting, very can be disruptive a little bit. So you could have some disruptive communication, though that is a positive aspect. So maybe it will just enlighten you to a few things. And then on April 3rd, Mercury is going to move into Aries. So when Mercury moves into Aries, this is where like the filters really come off, you know, and we can really, trying to figure out how to say this, like we can really like say what we feel, say what we mean, and, you know, and go fast. Like I feel like when Mercury comes out of Pisces and into Aries on April 3rd, this will be time to move, time to act, time for momentum. So we kind of have like a little break in terms of, you know, intense planetary energy from April 3rd until April 9th, but April 9th is a big day. So we're going to go over that now. So Mercury is going to conjoin Chiron. So what can tend to happen when Mercury conjuncts Chiron is like, I don't know, it's like those moments where like we don't feel quite seen or heard for our individual intention in Aries. And I think, you know, this is like a wound to the individual mind. Keep that in mind if you want. Though I think too, this can also lead to breakthroughs. Chiron is not entirely negative. I have my sun sign with Chiron in Leo in the 8th house, which is a very intense placement. But I think that Chiron really allows me to understand where people are coming from when they're suffering, when they're hurt. And I think that this is, you know, I think that this could be a really profound day for breakthroughs, especially with all else that's going on April 9th. So on April 9th, Saturn in Aquarius is going to trine the North Node in Gemini. So we're going to be feeling this pretty much for the first part of April. And after the April 9th date that this is exact. You know, these aren't super quick moving energies. And I think that this Saturn aspect is going to bring us into alignment with people that we really, that are really positive for us. And I think as well, this will give us like the foresight, because Saturn is going to be in Aquarius until 2023, 2024. So this will give us the foresight to kind of see what is coming so that we can see what we need to do. And this will also, you know, this could maybe solidify some connections that we've been making. And give us the focus. Saturn trining the North Node, this gives us focus of mind, focus of intention, and where we want to bring things into the real, where we want to make things real. So also on April 9th, Mars in Gemini, which just conjoined the North Node, is going to make a square to Neptune and Pisces. Oof. So in terms of like the spell work that's been going on, and in terms of like what our next course of action is, we want to just make sure that we're really, really, really clear. In our micros, this can be like small deceptions and illusions, and where we can't really see like what step to take, because, you know, I think that if we key in to the Saturn trine to the North Node and kind of like use all aspects of our mind, like our emotional mind, our logical mind, we can make the best choice, the most sound choice for us. And also knowing that our spirit has sort of supersedes, in my opinion, any astrological energy. So with Mars squaring Neptune, I think that it's pretty illusory, pretty hard to get a grasp on like what's right, what's wrong in this space. And yeah, I think that whatever is going on around then, especially like on the news with the media, I think it will be probably, you know, I think, you know, if you don't know already that this is a good time to turn off your television, then now you know. Maybe, you know, maybe you want to instead go outside and enjoy nature. So I think that April 9th is a good day to turn off your TV and to key into your own life and your own micro where, yeah. So next is the April 11th Mercury sextile to Saturn in Aquarius. So again, I think that this really provides us to be able to focus and to be able to zoom in on what is right for us and where we can strike some kind of balance between that and what is right for the community at large. Okay, so also, oh, that was on April 10th, my bad. So also on April 10th, Venus in Aries will sextile Jupiter in Aquarius. Really positive aspect, lovely for socializing, lovely for feeling seen, feeling heard, feeling recognized in your individual nature. On April 11th, oof, Venus in Aries is going to square Pluto in Capricorn. Oof. So tough day for relationships, tough day for, but it's good. I mean, I think that these squares from Pluto to Capricorn, or from Aries to Capricorn, I mean, are really good reminders of where we step into our own inner authority and where we are able to access the all within us and how that can kind of like supersede the opinions of others and those sorts of things. So definitely you'll want to stay within your power on April 11th and not let anyone knock you off your pivot. Yeah, and not let Big Brother fucking knock you off your pivot too. So on April 11th, new moon in Aries. So really good day to give birth to yourself, to remember like what you're holding in your experience. And I would call it sacred selfishness is good on April 11th as well, because if you are so like spread so thin trying to take care of everyone else and trying to heal everyone else and trying to make everyone else feel complete, then you will miss out on this opportunity to come back to yourself, come back to your center, which really goes for every day. But I think especially like if there's any intentions that you'd like to set for your own self-development and your own soul's work, April 11th is a great day for that, especially with the Venus square Pluto. We'll see pretty clearly in April, methinks, in our micro, what's not working in our lives. And maybe even with some of the sextiles and the Saturn North Node trine, we'll see where we can fix it. And we'll definitely key into some solutions, which is awesome. Okay, so on April 13th, the sun in Aries is going to sextile Mars in Gemini. So another really good aspect for action and taking your steps, whatever they are that you need to take, and communicating with others and coming together to act with others. April 14th, Venus moves into the sign of Taurus. So what can happen when Venus moves into Taurus is like, it's definitely interesting. Venus is very luxurious in Taurus, much prefers to be in Taurus than Aries. So this will be good, I think, for relationships and for connection with others. And, I think on a personal level, depending on the agreements that you have in your field, in your space, this could be good for financial cultivation. On April 15th, the sun in Aries is going to sextile Jupiter. So really lovely day to, oh, my cat is at the door. One moment. Okay, so with this aspect from the sun in Aries to Jupiter, this is again where we're really recognized and seen for who we are and our intentions, and where cooperation and collaboration does not have to happen at the expense of the individual. And then April 16th, the sun in Aries will square Pluto in Capricorn. So definitely another one of those kinds of aspects where it's good to hold firm in your power, to remember who you are. The sun in Aries technically wins out in this square, so you'll be able to kind of like get a sense for what is going on, for who is, you know, trying to exert their power over you, and how you can take your power back. I think that's a huge theme with these squares to Pluto. April 17th, Mars in Gemini will trine Jupiter in Aquarius. This is going to be awesome. Really, really positive aspect for kind of taking those like calculated risks where, you know, you're kind of like, I know that, you know, there's a lot of like uncertainty right now, but where you'll kind of have like a bit of luck in your space to be able to take some of those calculated risks, and to be able to trust, to have faith in yourself, in the all. Also, April 17th, Mercury in Aries is going to sextile Jupiter in Aquarius. So again, really great time to just speak your truth, see who kind of is magnetized to you based on that. And, you know, I think that all of these sextiles to Jupiter, especially like with these planets in the late stage of Aries, it just screams like validation for who and what you are, for who and what you're bringing. And so I'm really excited personally for those aspects. So Mercury in Aries on April 17th is going to make a sextile to Mars in Gemini. So the 17th, it's like Mercury, 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 Mercury. When Mercury in Aries sextiles Mars in Gemini, I think this will be really, really positive, because it sort of allows like our mind and our actions to like walk similar complementary paths. We do have to take action this month to gain the gifts that are present within the astrology matrix computer program. It's just, you know, reality. So also on April 17th, Mercury in Aries is going to square Pluto in Capricorn. So I think like in the middle of April, we're kind of seeing like where there are some power battles and dynamics in our own micro, as well as the obvious power battles and dynamics in the macro. But I think that like the micro is pretty much the macro. So yeah, so I think that with these aspects, we'll really kind of see where the challenge is, and we'll see what we're up against on a micro level. And then I think once like some of these planets move into Taurus, we'll be like, okay, so no wonder, because I value this, maybe this person values this, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it is like, we can see that there are, with Uranus and Taurus, very obvious value differences among all of the people that share a realm here. So, you know, maybe you want to gravitate towards people who are more freedom loving or more safety concerned, depending on where you fall. No judgment. But I think that the people that are coming into our lives right now are coming into our lives for a reason. And that has to we have to kind of acknowledge and be aware of that. You know, I've met people in the last year that just really like, the people in my life, you know, over the last several years, no judgment, but it's like, you can be seen in a way, I think, with the people that you're meeting now, perhaps in a way that you haven't before. And that's a lovely feeling. So we'll want to go toward that, and we'll want to tune into that. Hi, sweetie. Oh, my baby. You guys want to see my little baby? This is my honey heart. He hates me right now. Okay. This is my channel's mascot. All right. So anyway, Yeah, so April 19th, Mercury moves into Taurus, which is where, like, I think communication can become very smooth, very like gentle, and very like melodic. When Mercury comes into Taurus, we can suddenly become like more realistic and like more looking at things from a grounded, tactile, like, what do I need physically today kind of energy. And I think that with Mercury moving into Taurus, you know, I mean, the Mercury in Aries days where we have no fucking filter and we're just like, here's what it is, that's fun. And I think Taurus brings some refinement when Mercury moves in there. So, um, yeah. And then, mm, April 22nd, Venus is going to conjoin Uranus and Aquarius. And this is where we can come up against some surprises in our relationships, of all kinds, platonic, romantic. We can sort of like, things can come out of left field whenever there are conjunctions to Uranus. And, you know, Uranus and Taurus is all about our value system and all about our physical lives, which is why I'm kind of like, interesting weather. Interesting. Maybe mama will shake her back a little bit. Maybe she does not respond well to the very evident terraforming that is going on here. Right. So just a, you know, just throwing that out there. And I think as well, you know, we can get a lot of really interesting ideas because, you know, April 24th, Mercury is going to conjoin Taurus, and these are gonna, so Venus and Uranus and Mercury are kind of gonna all be in the same space. So on April 23rd, Mars moves into Cancer. So we're going to be like, ooh, okay, I feel like resting. I feel like taking a nap. Mars in Cancer is one of those energies where, like, if so say there's this person and they have their natal Mars in Cancer. If something bothers them, they are going to hold on to it and just keep it until they just can't keep it anymore. And then it comes out in little passive aggressive, you know, like ways. Not always. I mean, some people, you can't speak for everybody with this placement, but it's definitely a time where it's harder to, it's almost like a little Mars retrograde in a way, because it's like hard to really act, hard to like move forward, hard to take the steps that we need to take, whatever they are. So I do think that that's why I'm like, okay, you know, in the first part of April, when everything is direct and when there's no weirdness, because then, you know, Pluto stations direct, or I mean, retrograde later on in April. Use the first half of April, please use it for yourself. Okay, so on April 25th, Venus in Taurus is going to square Saturn in Aquarius. Also, weird weather, weird frequency, energy, and you know, some unexpected sort of, you know, shifts and changes in our personal relationships to our personal value system, the comforts, you know, that we have. So, if you haven't stocked up on a little bit of food, I would highly recommend doing that. Um, because also on April 25th, Mercury squares Saturn in Aquarius. And I think that, you know, this is kind of like some unexpected news or some news that kind of challenges our values and, you know, challenges our comforts. And on April 25th as well, Mercury is going to be with Venus. So that really does soften the blow from Saturn. A good bit, and it makes for, like, if you're aligned with certain people, that's going to make conversations and ideas just really flow swimmingly. But if you're not aligned with someone, it's like kind of like talking to a wall when you're trying to talk to them. So on April 26th, there's going to be a full moon in Scorpio. Oof, you know, I think that with that and with Uranus and Taurus and oh, and then obviously on April 20th, the sun moves into Taurus. Hello, happy birthday, Taurus. Um, definitely going to be an interesting Taurus season. I'm really looking forward to see how it unfolds. But with this full moon in Scorpio, there's not a whole lot of Scorpio energy. There's not a whole lot of Leo energy. And so when there is like a moon in Leo or a moon in Scorpio or like, whatever it is, it's like this, like, it's like we snap back and we remember like, oh, I have feelings and I might not have been paying that much attention to them. Or, oh, wow, I actually do need human being connection. Or, we're going to have, I think that we're going to check ourselves basically on this full moon in Scorpio. I think it'll be felt. April 27th, Pluto stations retrograde in Capricorn. So if you've been following astrology, especially like, geopolitical astrology, you know that United States of America, quote, is warming up to its Pluto return. And there's multiple ways that this can go. I'm pretty sure that, I think it's exact next year and then the year after where Pluto comes like right on top of that degree, which is the same time that like the Declaration of Independence was signed, yada, yada. But I think that, this will be an interesting time to see what happens in the States. All eyes, as much as like, personally, I think Patriot programming is also programming. And, so I'm not necessarily like with or behind that ideology. But I do think to some extent that the world is watching us because in Europe, various parts of the world, there are very strong tyrannical lockdowns and measures enforced. And people seem to be begging for that here. And I'm like, ooh, careful what you wish for, because, I think that people are watching us to see what we do, to see how we handle things, as if we have some kind of choice in what happens, right? But so, yeah, I definitely think that it'll be an interesting next few years for people in the States, myself included. And I think as well, with Pluto stationing retrograde in Capricorn on April 27th, we might find out that the authorities that we've been trusting, whatever. I'm not even going to go into that. I think that this is a great opportunity to go inside of yourself, to go inside and to find your own authority. This is the time. This is the time to reckon with your own spirit, your own soul. And I think that Pluto retrograde really does not might not even give us a choice in that matter, because we have to really, I mean, honestly, I think that this is going to be a huge ego death for a lot of people that may not have had that before, and kind of dying to the old self. This is highly transformative, especially anywhere that you have Capricorn in your chart. Pluto has been in my first house of self for fucking ever. So I'm definitely looking forward to going inside of myself more to kind of see what else needs to be excavated. This is excavating territory. And then on April 30th, the sun will conjunct Uranus and Taurus, which is going to bring surprises, both micro and macro. I think that, Taurus has to do with earth changes, weather, those sorts of things. In May, we'll be moving towards, Jupiter moving into Pisces, Saturn stationing retrograde. So there's definitely it's going to be a very interesting summer for sure. But I think that all of that to say, summing everything up that I just shared, I know that this is a long winding video, but go inside yourself. The multiverse, the kingdom of heaven, whatever you want to say, is within you. And as a result of that, especially if you are connected to the all, then you have the ability to override situations and to access, I don't want to say superpowers because that sounds aggrandizing, but you'd be surprised when you start to integrate, when you start to pull different pieces of yourself together and, really see how maybe we've been harvested or whatever. Like if you start to do some of that deep inner work, your intention becomes magnified and is going to go a long way. Um, you know, I was talking to my friend and, I was telling him like, I think that, it's like, because people are like, oh, when are the aliens going to save us? And we do have, some UFO disclosure quote to look forward to, I guess, for people's paradigms to continue to be rocked or whatever by all that. But I do think that, more high strange is on the horizon. I don't think that any aliens are going to save us. I don't think angels have our best interest, archangels. So, I think that it's us. Like we are our saviors. We are our own heroes. And if anything, this Aries season is really showing me that. And I think that that will just continue as time goes on. So I just want to send my love, send blessings, send ease, send hope your way. Look inside yourself. That is where your hope is to be found. And with like minded others, which this astrology provides a really nice opportunity to find. Um, I hope that you have an awesome month of April. Thank you for watching. Bye.